Hello and welcome to the Room of Truth. I am Queen Doro. I've been receiving a lot of emails from people who have been asking me how to become a medium and how to channel spirits and how to read the tarot cards. So what I would like to do over the coming weeks is to talk to you about how you can increase your psychic ability and how you can listen to your intuition. Now, it's something that we are all born with. The fact that I am doing this as a profession doesn't mean that you can't do it as a profession and or as a hobby yourself. What it does mean is that I and others like me have fine-tuned certain skills and abilities that we have, and it normally means that we have the ability to either tune into somebody's energy field, their aura, their emotions. We are often called empaths, but it also means that we are open on many levels. And I've been asked, how do I connect to spirit, and how do I know when spirits are around, or do I know if this house is haunted or not? And let me tell you, from the spirit world, we are never really ever alone. I may be sitting here in this room, as far as you are concerned, completely by myself. Sometimes I have the dog snoozing in the corner, but today, for today's sake, I am sitting here in this room to all intents and purposes alone. However, let me tell you that that is not always the case. We have a thin veil between us and the other side, and we have different frequencies and vibrations, and being a medium normally means that you have been able to fine-tune your ability to pick up on these frequencies and these vibrations that are around you. I personally do mine through meditation before I will do any tarot readings and before I come into the Room of Truth, which is my area where I am the most sensitive. I will meditate and I will open my channels, and those around me will say to me quite often, are your channels open, before they talk to me, and I will either say yes or no, because this is something that you need to control. You need to be able to switch it on and off, and that is part of the learning process of becoming a medium. If you start to open your channels and do your meditation and raise your vibrations and raise your frequency, and you find that you are unable to turn it off and on at will, then you will find that spirit, wandering spirits, will come through and try and talk to you. And in the beginning, it can be quite scary. As a child, I grew up abroad. My father was in the military, and I grew up abroad. And I thought that the particular area that we lived in was full of burns victims and amputees and people that were unusual, to say the least. They had gone through an awful lot of trauma, and I used to constantly speak to my parents about these people that were surrounding us, and I thought they were normal. They are normal. I thought they were normal. I thought that being surrounded by people who'd been through such awful burns and trauma was a normal part of life, and that everybody could see what I was seeing. As it turned out, the people that I was able to see at a very young age were actually burns and bomb victims from the Second World War, and those that had lost limbs in fighting the war. And because I, as a child, had a natural ability, my grandmother was the seventh child of a seventh child, which apparently would make children and her incredibly psychic and open with frequencies and vibrations, and it did. she saw some amazing things, and I saw some amazing things happen around her, and I just took it that everybody could do this. Everybody could sit in a room with papers swirling around them whilst they looked for a particular document. And I still get goose pimples when I think of my grandmother doing this. And she would be able to see the people that I could see and see the people that my sister could see. And she often validated the things that we were experiencing because others were telling us not to talk about our imaginary friends. Now, at that time, when you are raising your frequencies and your vibrations in order to interact, you have to just basically say that you are interested in doing this. But the moment you start to do this, you will find yourself like a lighthouse. And there are wandering spirits who will go through life, who have unfinished business on this side and on this material plane, and they are held back by strong emotions. If you can think of every strong emotion that you have felt or have seen around you, it can be anger, it can be hatred, it can be jealousy, it can be love, it can be disappointment. Every emotion that you can feel can be absorbed into the buildings around you, into the grounds around you, and also can hold spirits who have passed over, who have unfinished business. Now, when you start to learn to increase your psychic ability and you decide that you want to be a medium, you will literally be switching on a light bulb in a dark room. And you have to be aware that you will now attract spirit to you. All right, so you may suddenly have the room going cold, the temperature changes, lights going on and off, television switching on and off, radios switching on and off, sounds around the house. You might start visually seeing things, and the thing is, it can be very scary. But I have to tell you that there is nothing that can harm you on the other side. They are basically just trying to reach out and make sure that you know they are there and you acknowledge them. Hollywood has done a lot with their scary movies, because if they were to film me or another medium doing a reading, there is nothing that we want to pass on apart from the messages and the love of those people that are on the other side. We do not want you to think of horrible things happening, because whilst there are some horrible things that happen out there, they are nothing like as portrayed in the Hollywood movies. Hollywood would not make movies from normal mediums because we don't have things flying around the room. We don't always have doors slamming when we do a reading. What we want to do is bring through messages and things from recollections from the loved ones. And when I am doing a reading for someone and using my mediumship skills, I will visualize, and this is where the meditation comes in, and mediums all have their own ways of doing this. And what I will tell you is, I set up a room that I visualize, and on my side of the room I have a door that goes into this room, and it allows me to prepare, and on that door I will have the name of the person that I am doing the reading for, and I will have a blackboard in that room, and it also has the name of the person that I'm doing a reading for. And I will have another door where spirit can come into this room and they can take a seat, because when you're first doing this, they will all come through and they will try and talk to you, and there will be people that are connected to this person. There will be people who are connected to the neighbor of this person. There will be people who are connected to you, and there will be all sorts coming into this room. So you have to be able to only ensure that the people that are directly connected to the person you're reading for come into this room, and so their name will be on the other side of the door. Now, I have a method by which those people will come into the reading room, and they have to take a seat, and you have to visualize them taking turns, and you then can invite the person with the strongest energy to come forward. Now, I have to raise my vibrations, and the spirit from the other side have to lower their vibrations. It's like being in a swimming pool. I have to go in and I have to get to half of the height of the swimming pool, and they come in the swimming pool and they come down, and we meet in the middle of the swimming pool. And when we both meet in that location, we can connect. And quite often they will connect with you by mentioning things that are around you. They will either tell you of things that you knew them for, or they will talk to you about things that were important to them. They will describe clothes they were wearing, they will describe perhaps what they were doing, they will describe possibly how they passed, and they may even describe things that you did before you actually attended the meeting with the medium. Now, one thing that I always say is, when you want to become involved with this, you need to protect yourself, and you need to make sure that they cannot contact you 24/7, because there is no time, there is no sleep time for them. And if they see a portal that is open, and you are a portal and you are a conduit, you will find that spirit will wake you up 24/7, because they just want to get a message to the other side. They maybe have put a key somewhere that the other person needs to know. They may want to give them a piece of jewelry. They may want to give them something that is very important, or they may see something happening in that person's life, and they may think, I have to get through to that person now. And the fact that you have made an appointment with that person to be their medium and to do a reading for them, they will try to reach you every which way, because they want to be first in the queue to talk to their loved one. And there are so many stories I could give you of readings that I have done, where I have said I would do a reading for someone, and they will turn up days, if not weeks, before that appointment is due to happen. And they will also appear after the reading has happened, because they've forgotten to say something to them. Now, as a loved one, they want to connect with you, and as a medium, I am like a telephone between that world and this world. I do not know what is being said. I do not know the meaning of what is being said, and nor do I remember after a reading has been done as to what that person said. I basically become a conduit, and I allow them to say multiple things to the person that is by me. I am not to interpret it, I am to repeat it ad verbatim, and they will try often to come through. And if there are a lot of people, I will tell them to take a back seat, and they have to wait, and they have to wait their turn. And you, if you would like to become a medium, you are, first of all, I would recommend, learn to meditate. Find that inner peace where you can empty your mind. Because by emptying your mind, you are then able to allow others' thoughts to come through, and that's when you become a mouthpiece. So I will be working with you to help you improve your psychic abilities, and I will be happy to help you become a medium and a conduit for the spirit world, to allow them to lift the veil and for you to be able to pass on messages. It's a very powerful place to be in. You have to realize that most of the people that come to you are in a very vulnerable position and a vulnerable state. They are either trying to reach someone, they have unfinished business, and they have a lot of unfinished emotions. As a medium, you must never, ever promise them that you can bring through Aunt Matilda or Uncle Bruce. You must never say this, because you are not able to dial a telephone number and bring that person to the fore. Quite often you will find yourself opening your channels, allowing spirit to come through, and you will be passing on messages, and it's up to them to interpret it. Now, when you become more skilled as a medium, you will then be able to ask for names, places, dates, times, and very important things that will identify that person to the person you are reading for. Now, I always say when somebody comes for a reading with me, do not say anything. I want you to say yes or no. And do not be discouraged when somebody says no, that doesn't make sense to me, because quite often they will need to go away and speak to somebody else in the family, because someone else will be able to validate that for them. It just means that they do not remember what the Spirit is trying to tell you. They do not remember perhaps Auntie Matilda roller skating as a child, because they never knew that Auntie Matilda did roller skate. So when you do a reading for someone and you do you can either be clairaudient, which means you will hear the people speaking to you, you will hear voices. You may be clairvoyant, where you will see images flash into your mind, or you will see flashbacks that the person will be trying to give you, and you will develop your own style of symbology with your guide. If you have a guide that will be standing by your side or sitting by your side, and they will be helping you interpret what is coming through. But it's not ultimately for you to interpret what it means to the person you are reading for. And as I said, I always say to the person, do not say anything. After we've had the reading, you can then tell me what meant something to you. Just say yes or no. And if I were to bring Spirit through to you, you would find that I don't even look at you. I will either have my eyes down to the side, and this allows me to focus solely on what is being said to me, what is being shown to me, or what I am thinking and feeling, because I don't want to look at you. I don't want you sat there going, oh, yes, that's Auntie Matilda. No, I don't want to know if it's Auntie Matilda. I don't want to look at your body language going, yes, she's on the right track. No, because the person that you are reading for quite often will try and grab onto anything, and it's not for you to do that. You need to be completely unbiased and open to whatever messages are coming through, and not be directly distracted by the person's body language, by the person being excited, by the fact that they are suddenly smiling, by the fact they are crying. Because quite often you will do a reading for someone and you will find that they are crying, and sometimes you will cry with them, and this is because there is such a lot of emotion, there is such a lot of recognition between them, and they will be connecting to the Spirit that you are bringing through, and it's wonderful when you have a very strong connection like that. So I will, in a series of videos, teach you how you can increase your psychic ability and how you can develop your mediumship skills. So that's it for part 1. I've already spoken over my normal length of 5 to 10 minutes. I hope you enjoyed this. Do subscribe, do like, do put comments and questions in the section below. Do join me on Facebook, and do ensure that your notification bell is activated so that whenever I release a new video, you are informed of it. So for now, that's it for me today, and I look forward to seeing you in the Room of Truth in the future. I am Queen Doro, and you have a super day.